Hello, thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit more about NCAA eligibility. I hope you find this useful. This is important because there are opportunities for our student athletes, including scholarships, opportunities for college admissions, and other doors that get opened, and also students who participate in the athletics programs at many colleges are afforded significant academic support. The NCAA has 3 divisions of eligibility and 3 divisions of competition. Division 3 is the lowest, and the primary focus for those student athletes is on the student portion of it, and they have time to participate in other on-campus activities. The eligibility is pretty straightforward. They have to meet the admission standards set by the school and maintain that amateurism status that the NCAA requires. Division 2 schools emphasize more of a balance between academics and gifted student athletes. It gives them a little higher competition level. And then, of course, the Division 1 is the highest level, tends to be larger campuses with larger budgets, larger athletic programs as well. Initial eligibility. Students are required to complete 16 NCAA core courses. So that's 16 academically eligible college prep courses, including 4 in English, 3 in math, 2 science, 2 social studies, additional English, math, science, and then also additional, which could also include the foreign language and/or philosophy. Students must complete 10 core courses, including 7 English, math, or science, before the start of their senior year, and those are locked in. Students must maintain at least a 2.3 unweighted GPA in those core courses, so that would not include non-college prep courses. They also have to earn an SAT combined or ACT sum score matching that core course GPA on the Division 1 scale. Division 2 students would have also to meet the 16 core course rule. It's a little bit different in terms of how it's structured. There are also is a lower requirement for the GPA. It's a 2.0 instead of a 2.3. And then there's also a combined score of 820 or an ACT sum score of 68 that does go into a sliding scale in August of 2018 for those college freshmen. Note that meeting Division 1 core course requirements will also meet the Division 2 core course requirements, so 1 and 2 above. So what is an ACT sum score? It's the sum of each of the ACT subtest scores. So English plus math plus reading plus science is equal to the sum score. And on the sliding chart, based on your GPA, there's a corresponding sum score minimum requirement. So if you have a 2.3 core GPA, which is the minimum to be competition eligible, you need to have an ACT sum score of 75 or higher. And the lower your GPA, the higher the sum score cut for Division 1. So if you have a 3.5 GPA, you can see the ACT sum score is 39, which is equal to, getting 10s on the 4 tests essentially. So it's very straightforward if you have a higher GPA. Division 2 requires that 68, but does change to a sliding scale. Some other issues to keep in mind. Students must keep their amateurism status. So there are a lot of things that students could potentially do in high school that would remove that amateur requirement and make them ineligible for participation in NCAA athletics at any level, including signing a contract, whether that be with an agent or a team, getting payments, doing tryouts, or even playing or practicing with a professional team, or agreeing to be represented by an agent. So when and why do athletes register? The NCAA registration is a process whereby recruiters are alerted to the fact that a student is interested in participating in a sport or multiple sports at the collegiate level. NCAA recommends that students register at the end of their sophomore year. The cost is significant. It's $75, so not everyone will want to do that, but there are fee waivers for those who are on free reduced lunch, and it does get the recruiting process rolling. Students would access this through the eligibilitycenter.org. And that is also the location where students would find the NCAA list of approved core courses. And the NCAA is the institution that makes the determination about what is a required or legal NCAA core course, not Fargo Public Schools. Students who register early can also qualify by the end of their junior year to be eligible. It does require the student to take a few extra core courses earlier in their high school career, but of course recruiters love that because they can go into that senior year watching the student and knowing that student is eligible to play the day they set foot on campus. Okay, that is 14 core courses with a 3.0 unweighted GPA, and that's by the end of the junior year. So where can you get help if you have questions? EligibilityCenter.org is the NCAA official website. It has information about the NCAA core courses. It has Division 1 and 2 worksheets, which are very useful for working through that core course process with students. It has a registration checklist and timeline. It also has the Guide for College-Bound Athlete available as a PDF download. You have also been issued a color copy from the NCAA for your own reference. High school counselors also have quite a bit of knowledge when it comes to the NCAA requirements, and we're happy to guide students through the process, although ultimately it is always the student's responsibility. So, some key points to remember. Students must have a 2.3 minimum GPA to be academically eligible for Division I. The NCAA has a program called 2.3 or Take a Knee, which means you're not eligible. Division I and II students are required to complete the 16 core courses prior to graduation, and they must do that in 4 consecutive years. Students should register as early as sophomore year is recommended by the NCAA, and they can do that at the NCAA's official web portal, eligibilitycenter.org. Some additional resources you might find useful. The 2.3.org has posters and screensavers that you can download, make those visible to students, talk with them about it. There's also a Twitter feed that students can subscribe to. It's called @talkingbench.com, and the idea of the talking bench is if you don't meet the requirements, you are sitting on the talking bench. Thanks for participating. There are some survey questions that I ask that you complete as part of this process. It should not take you more than just a few minutes. Thank you.